Slack, yeah, let me fix this light back here. I guess that's better. Yeah. Let's see. Slack here. 1 second, Akim. Yeah. You can. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Let's get this going. Oh yeah. All praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to Allah Akim doing and pushing his word in sincerity and truth worldwide, and a sincere shalom to the elect. Hold on 1 second, Akim. Just look tilted a little bit. Is it? Nice, it's good. It's good stuff. Slovakia. Tilted a little bit. Anyways, let's get into this little lesson here. Okay. Good set against evil from the beginning. Alright? And you already know we're going into Esau Edom. Us versus Esau Edom. Okay? It's always been like that since the beginning. Good set against evil. Alright? Let me get a scripture real quick. Start that out. You know, you got 2/3 of our people that are always in this mode of wondering why. But these things, these mysteries, you know, as the scriptures here, let me get this first, actually. Let's get this real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 2:7. But we speak the wisdom of Yahweh in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Yahweh ordained before the world unto our glory. Okay, so we're speaking about these things which, you know, 2/3 of our people have no clue about. Okay, you know, these other nations that are just wondering, you know, they don't have no clue. Even the low level Edomite, you know, the elites, they know, right? We know, right? But anywhere on the in between, they don't know what's going on. So they're pondering why these things happen to them, why this is going on, why this is happening. Well, the Lord said that He set good against evil, man. And this is before even, you know, things were set up. But let's get this real quick. I wanted to get this scripture here. Sirach 33 and verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So you see, oh yeah, let me get this real quick, because there's a balance. Look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. Okay? And this was like us being in the womb, you know, with Esau Edom. We're going to get to that quick, but, you know, in life, like it says, good is set against evil. Okay? So our ways are set against their ways. Their ways are perverse onto us, and our ways are perverse onto them. Okay? And yeah, let's get that real quick too as well. Let's go into something else. Speed it up a little quickly here. Because Esau Edom, he's a damn devil. And we keep telling our people about this man, the wickedness of this man. This man don't love you. When he find an opportunity to you know, get you, he'll get you. You know, this man's been setting up traps. Whenever he has that power, whenever he has that opportunity, okay, to take you down, you know, to get over on you. He just, you know, he's not really inventive. He just looks at other people, what they're doing, and takes it and amalgamates it, you know, puts it into a vigor pot, you know. He's not that smart. So he looks out at the other nations and the other people, what they're doing, and gather up from that, okay. But he was born to do wickedness. He doesn't have a righteous bone in his body, okay. Scriptures tell you that the tender mercies of him are cruelty, okay. Let's go to this real quick. Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Yeah, you can't trust this man. Okay, scriptures also tell you about this man. You know, he'll say one thing, but he means another. This is why we always tell you, 2/3 Jakes, you're stupid, you're dumb. You know, and look how much of those so-called Latinos, Northern Kingdom, right, and Southern Kingdom, that had voted for Trump, and look what Trump turned around and did, called the ICE on them. Can't trust your enemy, man. He was set up, he was born to be that way. Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 25, when he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. Okay, so when he's speaking on a topic, government housing, SNAP benefits, whatever it may be, you know, he may speak to appease your ears, but believe him not, because what? There's 7 abominations in his heart, okay, in his mind, whose hatred is covered by deceit, them same fair speeches that he gave you, because them very fair speeches is that deceit. He's telling you, yeah, I feel sorry, you know, Tyrone's belly is hungry at night. Or, you know, you ever see those functions where, what's that kid that got shot, man, by Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin? They'll stand up there and they'll say, oh, I feel so sorry for this guy, and so on and so forth, and his family. But in the same breath, sign off on a bill that attacks our people, okay? So they don't give a shit about you. All their fair speeches is just deceit, okay? Whose hatred, see that? His hatred against us is a deep hatred for us, okay? He's on the top of the list. Then you'll probably have like Moabites, right? Because you know they hate our ass too. And they want to be like the so-called white men, right? Ishmael, Hamites, so on and so forth, right? We're hated of all our enemies, all these nations, all these heathens, right? Whose hatred, but Esau, Edom, he's on the top, all right? Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be shown before the whole congregation. Eventually, you find out this man is a devil at the last minute, okay? At the last second, you find out that he's a madman on the loose. And much like this situation here, First Maccabee going into Antiochus, right? Let's go into this real quick. First Maccabee chapter 1, straight to the point, 29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceful words. See that? Spake all those peaceful words. Well, what does it say? Unto them, but all was deceit. Going back into Proverbs, right? His fair speeches, that's hatred covered by deceit. Those deceitful words, those fair speeches, okay? Peaceful words, right? And spake peaceful words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. Okay? And this is how it's going to go down this time anyways. This time coming around. Because that's how Esau Edom is. He's a lying, cunning thief from the beginning. Alright? That's how he was set up. But you have 2/3 of our people that consistently trust in this man. They trust him because he has, like, you know what the scriptures say? They go down to Egypt. No, he can't be a bad guy. No, not him. You know, that's their mindset. That's their thinking. Slack here 1 second. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Yeah, they love this society. That's why they'll say the blood of Christ, Salakia, the blood of Christ covereth us and all this bullshit. You know, if we go off, don't worry. You know, it's not what you eat. Excuses. Sinful man will you know, find an excuse, rough phrasing, right? That's why they love this place. They get to do whatever they want in this place, and they don't find, ridicule, persecution. But now he's seeing that the prophets are rising, that they're finding irritation. They're finding us to be that irritation, right? And whose side you see them going to? They're going to the side of the wicked, right? Anyways, Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Right? So when this place goes down, you gonna be going down with it. Okay? Let me go into something real quick. That confusion. Let's see something. Just want to see something real quick here. Yeah, reproach, disgrace, confusion, dishonor. Yeah, so what Babylon is gonna get, you're gonna get, man. Okay? That's what you get for trusting in Pharaoh. And the modern day Pharaoh, we already know, is that mega maniac Trump, DJ Trump. Okay? So that's why 2/3 of our people, they love this man. They can't believe that, oh, this guy would do something to us. No, man. I don't believe that. I don't trust, No, there's 3 classifications of men set up here. Sons of men, that's these other nations. The sons of God, Yasharallah, that's us. And the sons of the wicked, that's Esau, Edom. Okay, he was set up, designed to just do wickedness. Okay, and even if you think that he's doing something right for you, righteous for you, there's something behind the back. You know what I'm saying? Slaki, 1 second. There's something behind the back that this man ain't showing you. Alright? And, that's what it is with Esau, Edom. He can't come straight forward. Just like back in Maccabees. He came with a great multitude, gave him all this peaceable words, peaceable speech, these fierce speeches, but always deceit. He had it behind his back like, yeah. Just wait till they fall asleep. Bam. This is Esau, man. Can't be trusted. And let's go into that real quick. Let's go into Genesis chapter 6 and verse 2. 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took themselves all of which they chose. Okay? So the sons of God went and bred with these different nations. Okay? That's all that means. Because there was giants in the earth. You got to go into these words, man. Okay? So, let me get this real quick. Slaki, going back into that. So it shows you that there's oh yeah, okay, well, let me read that back over again, and now I'll go into Matthew. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, Yasharallah, saw the saw the daughters of men, these other nations, that they were fair, beautiful, okay? And I'm pretty sure, let me go into that word there, it should be Yapa. Oh, not even, shit, Slakia. If I'm not mistaken, Yapa. Why? No, it's told good, pleasant, agreeable. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so they were pleasant in the eyes of them. They said, yeah, they looked upon them, they're looking nice and shit. They're like, yeah, alright, this is suitable. You know what I mean? We're men, they're women. Let's do the do, So it shows you the sons of men and the sons of Yasharallah. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 13 real quick here. We gotta, prove these things. You know how 2/3 are. You know. Let's start at 36. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 36. Then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world. Right now we closing in on that time, and the reapers are the angels. That's why the Lord said that, the angels, Matthew chapter 24, immediately after those tribulations, He's going to send His angels. His angels shall gather His elect from the four corners of the world. Salakia. Verse 40, as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. Yeah, so you have, that's why we always tell you, it's not a black only thing, alright? Because you have brothers that look so-called white, okay? Brothers that look like Edomites, brothers that look like Hamites, brothers that are in those regions where it tell us, hear, O ye heathen, and understand. That's talking about our people that's in that Gentile state of mind, right? And we are all in a Gentile state of mind too. But guess what? Those brothers heard the word. Romans chapter 10 and 17, faith coming by hearing what? The word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Romans chapter 8, verse 14 and 16, right? Hereby we know, our spirit bear with their spirit that we are Slakia, that we are the sons of God, right? The spirit itself bear witness, right? So those brothers heard the word, and they, within their spirit, the Lord was speaking unto them. Guess what? Our nation is scattered throughout, all these other nations. So you're gonna have Israelites that look like the so-called white man, Ishmaelites, Moabites, right? You're gonna have our people looking like all the rest of these nations. So, just the same way, you could have tares amongst us from them, all right? And looking in the time of slavery, where the so-called white man took the so-called black woman, right? The Judite woman, or a woman from the northern kingdom, doesn't matter. And Edom went in onto them, and we already know that the seed is of the father. So what the father is, those little babies gonna come out, those little picnic gonna come out to be, right? So you had the devil sowing tares amongst us. This is what this is talking about. So you're gonna have people in spirit that are Edomites, but they're chocolate Edomites, we say. We used to call G-Man. G-Man, hey, he might be, who knows? He might be a chocolate Edomite, all right? Herod, right? So you're going to have situations like that. You're going to have, people out there that look like us, but guess what? They're really from the tribe of Moab, or the nation of Moab and so forth, right? So as we did it, right, we spread our seed and we were scattered. They did the very same thing, right? Just because somebody's got dark skin, right, or particular phenos, we say, oh yeah, that's definitely Israelite. No, okay? We know that the mass majority of us, how we looked when we left, right? But at the same time, like we say, we tell you, look, our seed is scattered all over the place. What about the Judite brothers that went to places like Japan when the war and all those things? Then they got kids that look like my eyes, right? Right? So what happened there? Look, Ruth, right? Ruth, she was a Moabite. And when it comes to mixing Judah and Moab, like I said, you get this effect, all right? So, This is why the scriptures say don't judge on the outward appearance. It's by the Spirit. Okay? And it also says to try the Spirit. So the bottom line is here that we prove, look, there's the sons of men, which are these other nations, you know, Hamites, Moabites, Ammonite, whatever, so on and so forth. Then you got the sons of the wicked, Esau, Edom, the one that was created to be the wicked. And then you got the sons of God, Yashra Allah, okay, us, Israelites, alright? Hebrew Israelites. So, get that out of the way. Good is set against evil, alright? So, from the beginning, this nigga, Esau, Edom, has been that way. Let's go to something real quick. Genesis chapter 4 and verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. Okay? Now when you go down to verse 7 here, this is the part that I wanted. Alright? Verse 7, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted, and if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, your mind, okay? And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Yeah, and sin's gonna, you know, the spiritual demon's gonna have his way with you. You're gonna be his bitch, alright? So basically, the Lord is telling him, hey, you do good, you know, or prepare for evil, and evil will be waiting there at the door. That's how your mind's gonna be thinking, okay? And this nigga, you know, let me see something real quick, Salakia. Salakia, 1 second, Akim. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Genesis 4 NLT. Okay, 4 and 7 NLT. Let me get back to this real quick. Salakia. Genesis 4 and 7 NLT. You will be accepted if you do what's right, right? If you just from the beginning do what's, you know, what's right. You got it. Your parents showing you the right way, okay? You got it. But if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you. But you must subdue it and be its master. And this is why the scriptures tell us to put our flesh under subjection to our spirit, right? Control it. Even though we're in the sinful flesh, right? Just fight, control it, okay? But Esau, Edom, Cain couldn't do that. Even when Esau came out, his father told him, don't go on to these different nations. What did Esau do? He said, fuck that. I'm going to do whatever I want, okay? Oh, Psalms chapter, what is that, 50? You know, you have the instruction book in front of you, but what do? You willfully cast it behind you, saying that you know what's good, right? You know better than the Creator. With that type of mindset, and yes, sin lieth at the door. Remember, good was set up from the beginning for good, and evil was set up from the beginning for evil, okay? You want to do good, you're going to get good. You want to do wickedness, you're going to get wickedness, man. Let's go to Genesis chapter 25. You know where I'm going with this. Let's see what's locked here. Let's go to verse 21. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 21. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations, see that? 2 nations are in thy womb. Two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay? And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Aisha, wasted away is he. Okay? So, two manner of people, two nations, two manner of people. One set up to be righteous, to do righteous, to be the sons of the power, sons of Yahshua Allah, and one set up to be Satan's bitch, alright? To be on the losing side, the one to take the L. And that was Esau Edom, okay? Simple and plain, good set against evil. Like we go back to Sirach, you know, good is set up, evil is set up, there's a balance, alright? When you're watching a movie, you got your popcorn, you got your juice, you got your, you know, saying even with that, you constantly eating popcorn? No, you chill out. You chill out for a little minute. You know, you might reach for your drink, sit down, but you're not like this. The whole movie, unlimited popcorn. No, you take a chill break. Your body, you take a chill break, right? So even in the movie, there's balance. Even in the movie, right, that you're watching, there's good set against evil. If you're watching a movie and it's consistently just, you know, floating teddy bears and fucking candy and hugs and kisses, it's a boring ass movie. I'm watching this shit. But now if there's arrows flying at those teddy bears, an arm gets ripped off, you know, shit's going down, yeah, this is an interesting movie now, right? So it's just the same thing with the Lord's movie. This is the Lord's movie. We're pawns. We're pieces on the chessboard, okay? He's the one that's written our story, all right? You know, and he's sitting back and he's watching this whole movie play out, all right? It's plain unto us that have understanding. So you 2/3, you know, you need not wonder, all right? We're telling you what's going on here, but, you know, because of your unbelief. Let's go to something real quick here. Fuck you. Yeah, of our own people. Let me get this real quick. I'll just read it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 2. And that we might be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men, for all men have not the faith. And we're seeing that shit happening out here right now, man. I wanted something real quick at Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin, a man that was created, right, to be sinful and do sin upon the earth, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Delusional. Fucking delusional. But anyways, you know, Salakia, and that man of sin shall be revealed. Right now we're revealing the man of sin, Esau Edom. Okay, the whole nation. Alright? And the whole world is looking upon this man like, you know, we're starting to hear what these Israelites are saying, and it looks pretty fucking true. Alright? And like I said, yeah, there's a balance in things, right? Everything is not hunky-dory all the time. Like I said, when you're watching a movie, let me read this first. Proverbs 11 and verse 1. A false balance is an abomination to Yahweh, but a just way is his delight. So the Lord takes pleasure in a just way. A just way is his delight. Okay, to be delighted in something, let me see. To be well pleased, or Psalms 47 and 11, he delighteth in those that fear him. Let me get back to this Salakia. The light. Yeah, take it pleasure in it, favor, goodwill, acceptance. Okay. Okay, so a false balance is an abomination. We know what abomination is. Going to that word, abomination, disgusting thing, abominable thing. You know, you get the idea. Something abhorred, right? Anyways, a false balance is an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. So real quick. Yeah, just, perfect, complete. Okay. There's another word that goes with it. Peace. There's another word that goes with it, man. Salakia. Sound to be put in there, but yeah, false balance is an abomination to the Lord. So, and a just way is his light. So he's not gonna have always, wicked things happening, right? Like the whole movie is just wicked. That's wicked, right? Always wickedness, 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 wickedness happening. The Lord lightens up load and makes good things happen, right? But it's all a balance, all right? Just like I was saying, when you're watching a movie, you can't just sit there and have the bottle to your mouth and just, consistently drinking. There's such thing as, if you're doing that with water, you get something like toxic shock, right? Even when you're eating food, there's a time, there's cycles for us. I think every 8 hours is within that cycle or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, every 8 hours or something like that. But anyways, your body needs to refresh. You need to take a bath. You need to brush your teeth. You need to sleep and rest, recharge the batteries, right? So it's just the same when it comes to this movie here. The Lord has a balance, right? So anyways, in the way he has balanced it out, like I say, he put good against evil. Okay? We're supposed to be righteous, and they're supposed to be wicked. Bottom line, that's just how it is, man. Sirach, chapter 18 and verse 1. He that liveth forever hath created all things in general. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he, who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. Okay? So going back into this, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. So you can even see the example that within one lump, right, within the womb of Rebecca, right, you have Esau and Jacob, right? And the Lord made a separation in between those two manner of nation, right? Two manner of people, two different nations. One for peace and one for hell, raising hell, all right? Yo, let me get that real quick. Let me see the one in Ezekiel 22. Yep, there you go. Ezekiel. I'm going to go to Leviticus. Ezekiel chapter. Actually, let me get that up for we'll start. Leviticus 20:26. Yeah, you know what? Let me read this first because it makes more sense this way. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. Ye shall be holy unto me, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have severed you from other people that you should be mine. Right, the Lord, Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8, put a division in between us and these different nations. He said, don't go into these other nations, don't mix and mingle yourself with them, because they have their way. But for you guys, you have to serve me. I'm your power, okay? And I'm a jealous power, all right? So the Lord said what? I'm going to sever you from these other nations, Okay, you shall be what? Holy unto me, right? Now watch this, Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 26. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane. You see that? You were set up to know righteousness. You were set up to know error, like it says right here, because when the Lord is dealing with you, and you know it's the Lord, you know the difference between lies and truth. Yep. I'm gonna get both of them. 1 John chapter 4 and verse 6. We are of God, we are of Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai. He that knoweth Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai heareth us. He that is not of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Okay, and this is within this time, within our house. This is really, really the house of Israel. We are of God, right? Should know all these things. The Lord said that He severed us. He's holy and we should be holy. These laws, statutes, and commandments were not given unto these other nations, right? So really, it should be for the whole house of Israel. But we know right now, it's for us, the ones that should be able to discern between, unrighteous, righteous, discern the times, right? Lord will, we be the elect, right? It's for the elect to know that difference, have the spirit to know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. 2/3 right now, we know they're wrapped up in the world. They got lost, mingled, perverse themselves, mix themselves amongst the profane things, right? 1 John chapter 4 and 6 NLT. But we belong to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and those who know Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai listen to us. That's really set up for Israel. But as Romans chapter 11 and 7 says, they were blinded and the elect have obtained it, right? Roughly phrasing. If they do not belong to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, they do not listen to us. And that's right. These other nations, they don't belong to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You 2/3 should be, you belong to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So you should be, following along and doing these things. That's why the Lord said, even that harlot, Rahab, right? Lord said, I found more faith in her than you. This was set up for you, and I found more faith in a fucking heathen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, shit. Elizabeth, this is a big one. Anyways, and that's sad, man. That a heathen got more faith than you? Woo. That's sad, bro. You 2/3, this was set up for you to do. But something that is filth. Even the Lord said that even if I gave this onto another nation to listen and hear, is in Ezekiel, that they would. But you 2/3, you're always stiff-necked, hard-headed, ignorant, uncircumcised ears. You don't want to listen. Okay. Anyways, continuing. If they do not belong to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, they do not listen to us. That is how we know if someone has the spirit of truth or the spirit of deception. Ooh, I like that one, man. But going back into this, one second. You're supposed to be able to discern things, right? You're supposed to be able to discern, between the unrighteous and the righteous. Going back into Ezekiel 22 and 26, her priests have violated my law and have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and the profane. Okay, neither have they shown difference between the unclean and the clean. They have hid their eyes from my Sabbath, and I am profaned amongst them. Okay, you were set up to be righteous, man. You were set up to be a righteous people. But here it is, you joining hand in hand with these people, skipping hands, jumping down the street. And the Lord done told you, look, let me get this back again. Leviticus chapter 20 and 26. Ye shall be holy unto me. I am Yahweh, am holy. Okay, I've severed you from these other people. Let's get some real quick. Severed you from other people. Let's go to, Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy. Second book of the law. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob is a lot of his inheritance. So you see the Lord put a difference and separation. Here, you over there, you over there, you over there, you over there, right? Don't mix and mingle with them. Just leave them be, okay? I'm setting you up as the castle. I'm setting you up as the light of the world. I'm setting you up as the diadem of the world. I'm setting you up as the beauty of the world. But here it is, you're down there mixing with pigs and fucking feral beasts, okay? Rolling in the, getting your royal garments, rolling in the dirt like them. You know? You're sick. You're sick in your head, man. That's why the scriptures say the whole head is sick. You run around trimming your ways, trimming your love, right? To be like these heathen and wanting to be, when you got the greatest in the world. It might not, you know, you may not perceive that, you may not see it right now, right? But if you're spiritual, you can see that we truly have the riches, right? Who, you know, this whole world was set up by our power. You know, not Gamesh, Inky and Gamesh or whatever the fuck. Monkey gods, elephant gods. Our world wasn't set up by them. Alright? Those are the things that the heathens have. We have the true power. Alright? You know, it should be a shame. So going back into that, Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he set the sons of Adam, separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Okay, so they all got their own thing to do. Alright, we got our thing to do, which is praise Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Yep, that's how it was set up. Let me get the potter. Romans chapter 9 and verse 21. Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? Okay? So, and yeah, let me start back from verse 9. Slakia, verse 20. Romans 9 and 20. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against Yahweh? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Like Esau, why you make me wicked? Esau didn't even stop to smell the flowers and say, why did you make me wicked? You know, he don't even do that. He's just like, yo, give me these flowers. We sell these things for $10 a piece. Yo, take this whole field up. Come on, let's go. You know, he ain't got a godly bone in him, but made from God. Wow. Romans chapter 9 and 20. Slack 21. But have not the potter, which is Yahweh, power over the clay, the man who's making it. You know, when you're at the clay tables and whatnot, when they're making those pottery classes, right? You're the potter, you're the one who's putting it together, and then you got the clay, the subject, okay, the thing that you could throw all over the place, dump in the ground, destroy it, burn it, whatever you want to do with it, you can, okay? That's the same thing with what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, you know, it is his movie, okay? You can't ask for a role. You're volunteering for the role of Yahweh Shai. Could I get that role? No. Everybody got their own role. Everybody got their measurement. Everybody got their lot. Okay? Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? And we were made unto honor, right? And they were made unto dishonor. It's pretty plain and simple. That's why the scriptures talk about, you know, his ways, you know, it's plain onto the holy, but it's a stumbling block onto the wicked, okay? These are stumbling blocks onto the wicked of our people, man. Because this word wasn't set up for the wicked, you know. But 2/3 of our people, they want to be sinful, they want to roll around in shit, they want to play with the wicked, be with the wicked, talk like the wicked, right? peering out, looking at the wicked, being envious of what the wicked got, right? Time and chance happen to every man, man. It'd be wise for you to suffer right now. So when the Lord arises, because remember, you're suffering for your past sins. When the Lord arises and turns those tables around, you're going to be sitting at the table, and all the goodly things will be handed to you, and there'll be a great gulf fixed in between. Right now, that's why the brothers, looking at what's at hand, what's to come, all right, we don't want to be caught up with Esau, Edom. Sure, the 2/3 are going to be rebirthed in the kingdom, right? But we don't want to be caught up in that day on that side when the tables turn, all right? And all those who are receiving benefits and have not known me or enjoying their life, Luke chapter was at 4:26, if I'm not mistaken, to receive that consolation, that prize, right? Well, surprise, when the destruction happens, you're going to be there with joining hand in hand with Esau, Edom, and there'll be a great gulf fixed in between us. You won't be coming to our side when we go and flying in chariots, Lord will, and looking down at the destruction. You're gonna have to taste that second death, right? Whoever wasn't found written in the book, you're gonna be part of that hellfire. You're gonna be part of that, okay? That's gonna be your portion for the minute and time being. That was part of your lot. You wanted to join hand in hand with the wicked, you're gonna get destroyed with them. But when the kingdom is arise, you're gonna rise. You're gonna be, good, and you're gonna be set in a great position. Okay, meaning you're gonna be Israelite. You're gonna be good. Not gonna be on the top though, because you didn't sacrifice your life. You didn't make your body a living sacrifice. That you see, us having the wisdom of Yahweh Shemel Shai within us, we see what it is to make this sacrifice. And really and truly, it's not even a slack. I don't want to say it like that. But really and truly, it's nothing because, no, let me not say it like that. Let me say it like this. Really and truly, to sell out, just like Moses, he didn't want to sell out for that season of pleasure, of sin, right? He'd rather suffer with the people of Yahweh Shemel Shai, knowing that, hey, why am I going to go and receive something that's temporal when knowing on the back end I'm going to have things given to me, for all eternity in all righteousness? I'm not going to sell out for this measly little 2 cents right now. No. I'm going to suffer what I got to go through right now and know that, hey, if I suffer right now, the Lord gave me promises telling me that, hey, I'm going to be up here with the 140. I'm going to be good. Okay? So why not dash away this world? Sit the hell with this, man. I don't need this world. I'd rather suffer now and receive. That's how they say, cry now, laugh later. But anyways, Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Who? Israel. Not these other nations. These other nations are going to get what they're going to get. Okay, they're going to be, when you have vassals underneath us, okay? Taskmasters, right? Looking over certain things that have to be delegated and done, and we come and tell them, yo, just like Haram and certain other individuals, right? Yo, get this done. Hewers of wood, hewers of stone, go over there and watch over them, and so on and so forth, right? So they're not going to be on our level, man. None of those people are going to be amalgamated in and Rahab. No. You are what you are, man. Okay? And the Lord don't change his ways. So continuing, the portion of Jacob is not like them. Yeah, there's another thing too. We were set up for righteousness. We weren't set up to do wickedness. We weren't set up to be slobs, to be heathens. Okay? For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Okay? So we weren't set up to be like them. Alright? Yep, this is why it tells in Baruch, don't give that. Let me get it real quick, I don't want to fuck it up. Baruch chapter 4 and verse 4. O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are made known unto us. Made known unto us, our children, not made known unto us, and 3 Hamites, and Balaam and all this stuff. No, Rahab. No. They didn't get amalgamated in. None of that. Don't talk that shit. This is all for Israel, okay? Just for the Israelites. Like I began, gave you the classifications of men, the sons of God, the sons of men, and the sons of the wicked. Okay, Esau, Edom, right? So you got the sons of men, that's these other nations. The sons of God, that's us, Yasharallah. And what was set up for Yasharallah was set up for Yasharallah. What was set up for the wicked to be wicked is profaneness. Okay? And these other nations, they basically the damn hewers of wood and taskmasters and whatnot. Because we gonna have them over you, Esau, Edom. Alright? Yep, let me get this real quick. This is why the scriptures tell you, going back into good set against evil. They hateth when we, set our children in order. Sirach chapter 30 and verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him often to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Right, you teach your son from young. He doing bad. You get to him. You show him discipline, correction, okay? And in the end, he's going to grow up wise because you showed him from young. And you weren't just training him out of your own ass, as they say. You're showing him through the scriptures of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai where he's going off and where he's, bound to go off if you do this, bound to go off if you do that, Here's the right way, son, right? He that chasteneth he that chasteneth his son shall have joy of him, much like us. The Lord is chastening us. The Lord is going to have joy of us because what? Let me read this. And shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. He that chasteneth his son shall have joy of him. Okay, so just like the Lord chastening us, what's coming about of us being chastened? First of all, we sinned against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but correction. Remember what the scriptures say? Remember what the scriptures say, son? Let me get this real quick. Proverbs chapter 3 and 11. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, and neither be weary of his correction. For whom Yahweh loveth, he corrected, even as a father the son whom he delighteth, have pleasure in, loveth, right? So, going back into that, much the same way what the Lord is doing with us. And at the end of the year, day and week, that chastening don't feel pleasurable for that moment, but afterward, it's going to exercise you, right? And you're going to know the difference in between good and bad. You're going to know the difference in between truth and lies. You're going to know the difference in between the right way and the wrong way, okay? And that's what the enemy hate. Now you have, now you can have fun making decisions, as they say. And they don't want you to make the right decision. They want you to keep taking the L, keep taking the L, This is what the wicked were set up to do, to mislead the righteous, to mislead the good, right? So he falls in that category and keeps falling and falling and falling. But this is why I read this. He that corrected his son shall have joy of him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teaches his son grieveth the enemy, right? Because the enemy is that way and we're this way. And they got a plan, right? They don't like when you teach your son. They want your son to take an L. They want you to keep repeating the same thing, because remember, they have a process. They got these jails to fill up with you young black men, and you young Latino men, and you young Gadite men, all right? This is how they trying to continue a 400, as they would say, right? Or 200-300 head start over you, right? They're still trying to keep that up. And they're setting up these prisons and these other bread and circuses for you So you always be the batteries in their system. You know, when you take a battery out of a Walkman, it stops working. When you put the battery in, push play, it's working, right? So when we're the batteries in their system, all right? So when you start pulling away from this man's, you know, investment, right? And we are those investments. When you start pulling away from that particular way that he wants you to live, you know, then he's aggy, then he's mad, then he, what are you doing that for? Well, what's up with this? This is that. You know, you're gonna have even more hard time with this man because he realizes that you're going back to your power. Okay. He that teaches son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Right? Because he's gonna get a good name of himself. You know, he's not gonna be walking around out there doing skunt, doing fuckery. Okay. And the enemy shall not find anything ill will to say of him. They're gonna have to make up shit. Okay, and they hate that. Remember, good is set against evil from the beginning. Yep, I made mention of that. They're that way, we're this way. Let's get this real quick. Proverbs chapter 29. Let's get that real quick. Proverbs 29 and 27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just. An unjust man is an abomination to the just. So those unjust men out there, starting with Esau, Edom chiefly, is an abomination to us, right? Now listen to this. And he that is upright in the way, is an abomination to the wicked. So we're abominations to the wicked. Okay, we're right and they're left. You know, we're serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and they're looking at it and go, ugh, why do you want to eat pork? Why do you want to eat, you know? And we're looking at them like, ugh, why do you eat pork? You nasty motherfucker. You know? Because why? There's a great gulf fixing between evil and good, man. You know, good is not going to say, yeah, let me go mingle with you. And evil is not going to say, let me mingle with you. No, it's my way and it's my way, you know. Good got their way, and that's the fixed way for good and righteousness. It's a balance, right? And wickedness got that way, you know. There's no little white lie, as they say. It's either you doing wickedness or you doing good. Bottom line. Let me get this too as well here. Yep, let me get that. Psalms 37:37. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace, right? But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. That's it. So you see the salvation for the righteous, and you see what's going to happen to the wicked. All right? From the beginning, the wicked was reserved to be destroyed. Think on that. Let me get that real quick. Meddle on those thoughts. Job chapter 21 and 30. That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Alright? Oh, 2 Peter. Let's get that one real quick. In 3. The Lord said that he knows how to preserve them to the day, so they should be brought forth to the day of wrath. Slacky, 1 second here. I just lost my Googles. Let me see here, Slacky, 1 second. Yeah, 2 Peter. 2 and 9. Let's get that real quick. The Lord knoweth how, 2 Peter 2 and 9, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and how to reserve the unjust man unto the day of judgment to be punished. Let me see what that says in the NLT. That's your power, man. Because remember from the beginning, right? Sin lieth at the door, right? Okay. Let's get 2 Peter chapter 2, 9 NLT. So you see, the Lord knows how to rescue godly people from their trials, even while keeping the wicked under punishment until the day of final judgment. Bomboclat. Bomboclat. Yeah, so let's continue. In Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 4. So let's continue here. Let's go, is that Exodus? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Good set against evil. Let me get this. Exodus chapter 17 and 16. For he said, because Yahweh have sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So going back into Genesis, from the beginning, good is set against evil. We're constantly going to be at war with these people. Rebecca's entreated the Lord, and he said, what? Because they were fighting in there, getting down, throwing kicks and punches and, Dragon Ball Z shit, wah, psha, fucking each other up inside the womb. Jacob had the upper hand because he's the strongest. But anyways, laying them bones on Esau Edom. Probably came out extra red because he got his ass whooped. But, good is set against evil, man. Okay? So from, the beginning, it was set up that way. Okay? That we're going to war with each other. We always going to be at each other. Oh, yeah, let's get that real quick. Let's go back to Genesis. Now that I was mentioning it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 27 and verse 41, where Esau said, and Esau hated Jacob. Hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And because you see hated past tense doesn't mean that he still doesn't hate us up to today. It tells you that wherewith his father blessed him, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. You understand? So this man's been this way from the beginning. Oh yeah, and those are the same niggas that took peace from the earth. As it tells us in the scriptures. Let's get that Maccabees, 1 Maccabee 1 and 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died, and his servants beard ruled every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. Because it tells you in, let me get that real quick, in Proverbs, that when they multiply, what happens? Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 16, when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. Right? The righteous shall see their fall. So Lord will, we'd be of that number, that 144, and we'll see the fall of this society, starting with Esau, Edom, these other nations, these happy-go-lucky nations, right? We'll see them all drop like fries, like when you spray fucking can of Raid in the air, and you close the door and look in the window, and you see all the flies just going, boop, 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 boop. They're all gonna take an L, and Lord will, that we be found right in the sight of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and we can, on the windows on high, look out and be like, bloop, bloop, bloop. See all these societies taking the L. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. That's Esau Edom. And that they should kill one another, Salakia, and there was given unto him a great sword. And we could go back to Genesis, that part of that blessings, the fatness of the earth, and by thy sword shall I live. And we're seeing this right now. So once again, good set against evil. Okay? This is set up from the beginning. Alright? Even before the movie started, the Lord scripted it this way. Let's go to real quick. I'm going to close out soon, because the point is concrete. Let's get this real quick. Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Going back into Genesis chapter 27 and 41. the days of mourning on my father at hand, then I would slay my brother, man. You know, and it's been that way up to today. He has a disdain hate for us. All right, yep. Let's get that real quick too. As a matter of fact, let me get in the NLT. Ezekiel, get this in the NLT. It says it way better in the NLT. Same thing, but you know. Ezekiel 35 and verse 5. Your eternal hatred for the people of Israel led you to butcher them when they were helpless, when I had already punished them for all their sins. Surely, Slakia, as surely as I live, saith the sovereign Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, since you show no distaste for blood, I will give you a bloodbath of your own. Your turn has come. Remember that table I was saying you just turn around? Deuteronomy 30, scratch it, you know? It's going to turn and there's going to be a great gulf fixed in between. And it's your time to taste the shit, Esau. You know, you other nations too. It's your time to get some ass whoopee, all right? In a royal way, with royal boots, royal feet, not a vile body, a spiritually something that you can't fuck with, okay? Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted of mine inheritance, and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the Asians hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Yeah, he showed no pity. Okay? The Lord was mad with us, but the Lord draw that back. But then here it is, Esau, Edom, you know, going above and beyond, right? It's like the Lord's like, I didn't ask you to do all that. Whoa, I didn't ask you to do all that. Okay, all right. I got something for your ass. And let me end on this scripture here, Psalms 137 and verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hung our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song. Isn't that very funny? You know, this is the same thing they did over here in Babylon to us. And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing Yahweh's song in the strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. Let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy, remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone. So hey, you led into captivity, you're going to get led into captivity. You kill it with the sword, we going to be getting down with a sword, okay? And that's righteous. You other nations too, don't think that you escaped. You going to get your ass whooped too, okay? It's just dessert. It's a great day of recompense, all right? So, hey, man, good is set against evil, man. That's how it is. You know, you don't want to watch no boring-ass movie, all right? Nobody wants to watch no boring-ass movie, man. That's just you know, you wake up in the morning, you got to go to work. You're like, what the hell happened? You're like, as soon as the credits came on, we just fell asleep. It wasn't a good movie. It was terrible. You know, all we just kept seeing was bunnies hop around and some song just kept singing. And we were like, what the fuck is this? And soon enough, you know, we just went like this and dozed off. That was it. So I woke up seeing the credits rolling. I don't know what happened to that shit. You know? But anyways, Sirach chapter 33 and verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. So, ain't no wonder to us, oh, why is this all like this? Why? 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 We know. Okay, the Lord has given us the strength to know, given us the wisdom to know. Okay, happy is he that getteth understanding, or findeth wisdom and getteth understanding, rough phrasing. Okay, so ain't no wonder to us why this society is the way it is. Why, what's happening. Hey, the scriptures tell us that. I'm gonna close on that too. Yahweh Shai has not wondered at any of these things. Meaning like they don't, he made them. Why the fuck would he confound them? Let me get it real quick, Slakia. Damn it. Going for the works of the Lord, wonderful. And who is he? Bless wonderful things done most people. Yeah. Sirach 39 and 20. He seeth from everlast to everlast, and there's nothing wonderful before him. Okay, nothing could surprise him. Nothing could, he made it. Okay. It's the same thing with us, man. We're in the same mindset. Like, look, you're not gonna surprise us with jack anything. We know exactly what's going on. The Lord has given us these mysteries, all right, so we can know. All right, and Lord will that we stay in there on to the end, because we know Matthew chapter 24 and 13. He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. As long as serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in sincerity and truth, look at the generation of old, okay? So, ain't nothing but chicken wing. We just gotta pray that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai give us the spirit to maintain, and continue on to the end. And with that, Akim, all praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to all the Akim doing and pushing his word in sincerity and truth worldwide. And a sincere shalom to you, Akim. Hey, what the scripture say? Joshua. Let me say that. I'm gonna start closing out with that one. Joshua chapter 24 and 14 to you all. Alright? Because those are the times that we're in. If you know, you know. Yep. Joshua chapter 24 and 14. Now therefore fear Yahweh and serve him in sincerity and truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye Yahweh. Okay? Serve Yahweh in sincerity and truth, man. And with that, shalom, shalom, Akim. I hope you're edified. Lord willing, to the next time, Abad Babal. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hang in there and still throw them haymakers. Keep a good pace. Shalom, Akim. Shalom.